Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Formula Racing League TV. Formula Racing League TV. Welcome back once again to Assetto Corsa Competizione console version. It's again, once more, season 23 of our championship in the console version of the Kunos Simulazioni simulator of the GT3. And this is Thursday, which means multi-class action here at race week number 5, which sees those GT3 and GT4 cars contest in 40 minutes heavy action, and possibly maybe with some weather chaos here at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. I'm Andrea Mattavelli, and I'm glad to welcome you back once more to our live stream on YouTube on FRL TV YouTube channel. I hope you are all ready, because what promises tonight is yet again another typical blockbuster multi-class evening of racing and action. And of course, we are here in the final minutes of free practice as usual, and already we have Gordon, who gives us a big cheer. Hi Gordon, how are you doing? Why am I not seeing you on the track for now? Do you have some problem, mate? Because I know Chris Genman was having some problems with the internet on his home. I hope you do not have some problem as well, because you're in such good form. So I really hope you can join us maybe in about a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, just to stay assured to everyone else, don't worry, Andrea Masella is still the reference for everyone else in the GT3 category. Marcella Didi, we are 134.8, even though Stefano Giannelli is now only 1/10 behind the Italian driver on the Porsche, who won all 4 races in this series. Super Sprint Sunday, he struggled a bit recently. In fact, he's not neither in the Taco Tuesday, even though he started as a reserve driver. So really nothing you can do about that. Is that he was initially contested as a reserve driver. But now Stefano Giannelli, with only 1/10, they see Marcella can improve even not quite, as he's slowing down because he had a Mercedes AMG GT4 in the middle of the way. But Marcella did in fact improve 144.6. He put himself another almost 2 tenths. Stefano Giannelli is now 292,000 of a second behind the leader of the championship. But Stefano Giannelli is still close. And can take advantage of the fact that the Ford Mustang do not cope well, do not suit well to the circuit Zandvoort. As you see, Brandon Glover, the first of the American cars, only in third, over 6 tenths away from Marcella. Maybe Giannelli could take this chance to take some great result here. Meanwhile, in the GT4, it's Kenzo Codonesu, the Belgian who won last time out at Alton Park. Sorry, Nürburgring. It was Nürburgring who won it, sorry. You, in fact, lead the way with over 1 second and 2 tenths of advantage over Matthias de Munster. That makes them the 1-2 for Belgian colors in the GT4 class. With Adam Sharp in third place in the Porsche Cayman, while Luca Mantego is not yet present here alongside his fellow Italian teammates in the GT4. There are none of them. So it's all up to grabs for now in the GT4 category. Considering now Lamming is third in the class, just 7 thousandth of a second ahead of Adam Sharpie. And yeah, really, it's looking to be really tense up front in the GT4 class, while Alessandro Litti, the only Italian present in the GT4 category, is closing his final lap. It will be the last one to see the checker flag It's only P20 overall. But now it's time for qualifying, multi-class qualifying. We will see first the GT4 cars, and then will be all the others. So the first 10 minutes are reserved for the GT4 class, and then the last 10 minutes will be for the other drivers, the one racing in the GT3. Let's see in the chat if there are some other. And Eduanos, Forza Andrea, thank you, gracias Eduanos. And Gordon is just running against time. It says, I'm 50% chance of making on time. Let's hope so, Gordon, let's hope so. But really, let's hope. Oh, we have another Italian on the lobby. It's Serafino Gerbino, who managed to enter the server and managed to hop on his McLaren GT4, which will start its qualifying action, even with some deficit, some laps of deficit respect to the other drivers who already did the free practice session. You can see Serafino Gerbino being the first one of those class in the track. Of course, Zandvoort, one of the most twisty and old school tracks that we see in this recent years. It's been hosting the Formula 1 Grand Prix since 2021, and this year will be the last visit of the circus, at least from a long time. 4.2 kilometers, 40 corners, with some of which are very historical, like the Tarzan, where Gerbino now is doing it. Turn 1, then of course the other turns could be really interesting, like the Hans Erzbocht, which is the chicane from 11 and 12, or the Ariel Udekbocht, the turn 14, which is the one where alongside turn 3, Hugenbots can now have a banking like Indianapolis Oval because of the latest reconstruction work, renovation, which was made to host F1 back in 2021. And well, we are racing on the old layout, so pre-2020, before the works, but the challenge is still the same because it's a track where you do not find very much grip. The temperatures are low in this period. There's always the factor wind, especially for those F1 cars, and there's risk of rain, considering we're in the middle of the weekend, and this was supposed to be like one of the few days where highest chances of rain, alongside tomorrow, Friday. But the hope is that we'll see a good clean race and some clean action and racing craft in the 40 minutes that will precede us in the race, the multi-class race. Of course, Serafino Gerbino across the line, 145.5 by the Italian. Behind him we see another driver, which is Witz, then Gary Smits, which is now behind Adam Schappe. Kenzo Codoneso is first now, leading with a 143.4. He's the reference for the GT4 class tonight, considering Luca Mantero and the Italians are not present. Nico Lamming, good job so far by Lamming, who manages to get ahead of Matthias de Bunter for 81,000 of a second. The Munster is third, Paul Trotman in the Ginetta is fifth, but Adam Schappe manages to put himself in second place, even though over 1.1 seconds behind Codoneso, who looks he wanted to take advantage of Luca Mantero's absence to attack the lead of the championship. Let's see if we'll manage to complete the overtake. Kenzo Codoneso in the Mercedes number 43. And I I deducted from the last season that the Belgian presence in Formula Racing League paddock is growing and growing exponentially, because they were just a few names in like last year, but now you see Codonesu, you see the Monster, who also is forced to be reckoned in the GT4. Then you have some drivers who race in GT3 that are present here now also in the GT4. We have Waits, we have Smith, and we have also other drivers who race. Geoffrey Godfrey, who does Sunday and Taco Tuesday. So looks like it's a growing period for the Belgian movement on the sim racing period. I hope it is. Talking about Belgium, and Matthias de Multer puts himself back into second place. But that was before being overtaken once again by Adam Schappe, who looks to be really confident on the Porsche Cayman. Is now fallen below the second gap, but Vasev Pospisil is second in the Audi. So also the Audi is looking really good on this track. I do not consider Codonesu because it looks like he's doing the Andrea Marcella of the latest races, because it's like racing in another category now. So for now, Codonesu post finish up in the top 3, the GT4 qualifying part. Who then meets the Multa, Laming, Zeti, Shaggy Moore, Trotman, Gerbino, Witz, and Lawson. While Elson now has joined the server, he will have time for like 1, maybe 2 time laps if it's lucky. But let's see where will Codonesu stop, because it looks like it's unstoppable tonight. And he's really pushing really hard to try to set like a record for the category here at Zandvoort. Let's see. That's lap of Codonesu. He did not improve, but I'm sure he's still faster. While Vasev Pospisil really aggressive on the curbs. The chicane of turn 11 and 12. Turn 13 now for Vasev Pospisil, who will aim to improve, to hold on strongly to the front row start ahead of Adam Schappe. Gary Smith and Matthias Muster. Gary Smith has moved in 3rd place, so good job by Smith. Pospisil improves, and what an improvement over 3 tenths. Taken away from his previous lap, is now Oldie by Quotmark. Half a second behind Codonesu. Adam Schappe is about this lap. I believe he will aim to relaunch himself and try to set one more lap. He has the time to do so. While Matthias de Multer in 5th place, the Belgian. Let's see where he will end in this lap. Lamik is into the pits, so his qualifying is over. I believe now that for the front row, it's only a question if Smith, Sharpie, or the Muster will be able to get anywhere near Vasev Pospisil reference. Matthias de Multer, some strange behavior by the Mercedes at the end of turn 13. He will launch himself again. Another lap, a final attempt for Matthias de Multer. We see now Adam Schappe, who will certainly launch himself. And we try to use the slipstream of the car ahead of him, which is Alessandro Litti, the Aston Martin Vantage. Could be a really good slipstream for Adam Schappe, considering also how Alessandro Litti is faster on the straight thanks to the V8 engine on the Aston Martin. But no, it goes really wide, and Litti goes off. Now it's hard for all of them to really go to improve their lap time. Meanwhile, it's a game on for GT3 cars. Glover, Marcel, and all the others, all now ready to start their qualifying action, the qualifying runs. Glover who is first, Marcel is in second. Meanwhile, the GT4 drivers will be allowed to finish the current lap. The first one to close the lap in the GT4 class will be Serafino Gerbino. Then will be Nick Witz. Gerbino does not, yes, he proves he goes ahead of Paul Trotman. Nick Witz, let's see where Nicky will end up. He improves but stays at P9. No improvement for Nicky Witz. He stays on the fifth road for the GT4 drivers. Smith and Sharpie all end up in the pit lane, so Valsa's possibly is one of the, if not the last GT4 car to finish their final lap of their qualifying part. Valsa possibly who's now certain of a front row start and decides to not end the lap. He comes back into the pit lane, so pole position for Kenzo Condoleezzo. We are 143.4 ahead of Pospisil and then all the others. And now it's time for the GT3 big boys to get all the fun. Andrea Marcel now the first to start the flying lap here at Zandvoort. It looks like you're already doing numbers, people, because we're already 7 spectators live watching this qualifying part of the multi-class Thursday. And before I get to report all those times, I recommend you, once again, if you are not, to like this video, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to follow us, to support us on Patreon, which is our income that gets distributed only for those servers, for those leagues, for this platform, so that you can see this fantastic race and we can provide commentary and fantastic coverage of those races here and online on our social channels. And of course, remember that if you want to race alongside us, if you want to try your luck against these drivers, this monster, you can always try by following on our SimGrid channel, SimGrid profile, and also by subscribing to our Discord server. Now, Andrea Marcella into the final straight. 134.6 is the first reference for everyone else. Brandon Glover stops the clock 1 second behind Andrea Marcella. Then is Fabio Silvestri third, over 2.3 seconds behind Marcella. Gareth Harvey is fourth in the Bentley. But watch out now for Stefano Giannelli, who finished second in free practice and will aim to a good performance here. Jack Prentice is third in the Ford Mustang, 7 tenths behind Brendan Glover. Well, will Giannelli end third place over only 17,000 of a second behind Glover. Petra Postrel, P6 ahead of Harvey and Bartolomei. Meanwhile, Riccardo Rosa, José Lachaud and Marco Lino are now doing their flying laps. No rush so far. They wanted to try the luck by going after and try to have the track all for themselves. For now, their rankings dictate Andrea Marcella leader ahead of Brendan Glover, Stefano Giannelli, Jack Prentice, Fabio Silvestri, Petra Postor, Gareth Harvey and Andrea Bartolomei. But we have to see what will the show Lino De Rosa add up in this provisional ranking. With now only 5 minutes before checker flag falls down on qualifying. Gary Harvey improves to P6 ahead of Petra Postel. Good job by the Bentley driver. Lo shoulder is P8 between Postel and Bartolomei. Good up by Riccardo De Rosa, full place ahead of Jack Prentice. And really on the slipstream of Glover and Giannelli. And speaking with Tevro, Giannelli manages to improve even further and is now in second place, 7 tenths behind Andrea Marcella. And this will leave us with the question if Brandon Glover will be proving this lap to take back the front row start, which can also be important for the championship standings. Reminder, because Brandon Glover is second in the championship ahead of Jack Prentice by 2 points. Also Marco Terena, who's absent today, and really Glover has a great chance to extend for second place in the championship. Brandon Glover now on the line, improves and gets for now the front row ahead of Stefano Giannelli by 2.5 tenths of a second. And Riccardo De Rosa improves to P4, Gareth Harvey to P5. So real good improvements by them. And also I believe by Lasher, because they managed to get ahead of both Postel and Zino. Now Stefano Giannelli out of the final corner, the 14th of the Zandvoort circuit. Stefano Giannelli, he does not improve it, he will have another lap to retry. He will probably know by far that his biggest rival for getting the second position on the grid will be Brandon Glover. Because the driver said, I do not see anyone try to come closer to his monstrous lap times. The other thing that can happen now, I believe, will be who will start alongside him from the front row and who will start behind him from the second row. Because it's the same group that I saw in the free practice. Oli Marcella, and then Glover, Giannelli, and I believe De Rosa is closer. And these three will be fighting for the front row. Glover did not improve on the last lap. So now the ball lands on Giannelli and De Rosa. Silvestri is into the pits. The Italian and the Ferrari on the debut, the seasonal debut for what concerns multi-class first day action. Let's see now. Giannelli De Rosa. Giannelli moves up into second place, but just 32 thousandths of a second. Great job by Stefano Giannelli, who did really well. De Rosa will now aim to get closer, maybe try another good shot here. All hopes for the best, of course. Brandon Glover has lifted. He will save his tires for a last hot shot of qualifying. So you see Riccardo De Rosa who will terminate his lap. And I don't know if he will be able to start another lap because the time is ticking out for Riccardo De Rosa. I believe he has like 4 to 5 seconds Maybe not that much. Oh, a little bit wide. I don't know if that lap will count. 3, 2, 1. Riccardo Rosa manages to cross the line, so we will have another shot. It will not be the case for all of the others because now it's the checker flag. So Jack Prentice is the first to take the checker flag. 5th place for him. Stefano Gianelli comes into the pits. Dramasada is already into the pits. Now we see Fabio Silvestri, who scouts the 7th in the black 296 GT3 of the Prancing Horse. Fabio Silvestri, turn 14, the one that now has the banking like Indianapolis Oval. Fabio Silvestri on the line, let's see. I guess he did not improve, so he stayed 7th place, I want to believe. De Rosa is back into the pit, so he decides to give up, but Glover did not. Glover is only 32,000 of a second behind Stefano Giannelli. Can he manage to find that gap and try to steal the front row start from the Mercedes driver? No, he can't. He decides to call it quits and head back to the pit lane. Gary Harvey from P6 can improve and move even further ahead. No, he stays at 6th place. But no shot with a last, like a genius master plan, manages to take 6th place ahead of Harvey and Silvestri. Silvestri now is the only one on track trying to improve his lap time. And the Italian debutant on the Ferrari is pushing like mad to find those extra thousandths of a second to move him ahead in the starting grid order. For now it's V8 and start from row 4. Can Fabio Silvestri improve here? He goes on the edge. Let's see if that will be enough for Fabio Silvestri. No, it is not enough. It will stay in 8th place. And so, with that, the qualifying order is all settled at Zandvoort because we have Andrea Marcella on pole position for the GT3 class in the Porsche. Another pole position, another dominance run for Andrea Marcella, who will aim again to replicate on the race. Then Stefano Giannelli will start alongside him from an Italian on front row. Then Brandon Glover, Riccardo De Rosa from row 2. Jack Prentice, Lascio, Harvey, Silvestri, Postolino, and Bartolomei to round up the GT3 field. Then in the GT4 will be Kenzo Codoneso in the Mercedes AMG GT4 to dominate qualifying and take pole position ahead of Vaz Paul Beats in the 2 Audis. Then Ada Schape in the only Porsche fielded in the GT4. Then the Münster, Laming, Litti, Schellingburg, Witz, Gerbino, Trotman, Els, and Lawson. And now we all prepare for the moment you will all be waiting for, the start of the main race. Multiclass first day action at Zandvoort is about to begin, so stay tuned. A little break of small minutes and then we'll be heading to the starting grid for the preparation of race 5 here at Zandvoort. And here we are back on the starting grid of Zandvoort circuit, located a little before because it's a short formation lap here, of course, for the multi-class first day. And we are here at the Netherlands track near the North Sea for round 5 of the multi-class first day championship here on Assetto Corsa Competizione, the second season of this series that was introduced a couple of months ago after some special events, and really was a big hit on our platform, and so we were proposed again for this season, and so we are here once again hoping for some great multi-class action around the corners of Zandvoort. No rain so far expected here in the race, but we all know the weather. He likes to be really tricky and to shake things up all the time. So we'll be having an eye hold on the weather, on the skies, to see if everything will happen. But for those cars now, it is time to prepare themselves to do their last adjustment, to really put the helmet, focus, and head to the main straight for the start of this race. Will be 45 minutes of multi-class action here at Zandvoort with one mandatory pit stop, and of course the main challenge to stay focused and do not mess up, especially in those blue flag situations that will inevitably occur in the second part of the race. Now they all begin the short formation lap, just the last moment to warm up tires and brakes before the start of the race. Andrea Marcella on the left of the track, on pole position, on the right for him, and then on the other side Stefano Giannelli on the front row, then the two Mustang of Glover, De Rosa, and then Jack Prentice in fifth. While in the GT4 we have Condolence on pole ahead of Pospisil, Smith and Sharpie. The driver now are the double row. They all ready for starting. 45 minutes of race action here at Zandvoort. Starting now. It's already drive-through for the shot. As Giannelli looks like to have an excellent start. He's already ahead, but turn one is Marcella to have the inside line and the advantage. So Marcella managed to hold the lead ahead of Giannelli and all the others, while Giannelli holds on Glover, and De Rosa is fighting already with Jack Prince over the place. Lost shot, who was hit by a drive-through penalty. He's trying to hold on Gareth Harvey, while let's head back for the GT4 drivers. Condonezu is almost fighting with Bartolomeu, racing a Ferrari 488. So Condonezu still leading ahead of Pospisil, then Sharpie ahead of Smith for third place in the class. Smith also lost a place to Matthias de Munster, and then it is with Lamming and all of the others. Really clean start so far, no major contacts, no major problems so far, except maybe for Smith, who I don't know if he started from the pit lane or just no, it is Sebastian who started from pit lane, so and Sebastian lost it again, I believe, turn 7. Well, Andrea Marcella is already leaving the park behind in his own spectacular fashion. No one can really match him at Zandvoort at the moment. And so looks like the winner is already written, but maybe, just maybe, we'll have to wait what will the lapping procedure give us in the second part of the race. But for now, after one lap, it's Andrea Marcella already dominating the field ahead of Stefano Giannelli, Brandon Glover, Riccardo De Rosa, Jack Prentice, Johan Lachaud, Fabio Silvestri, Petra Poster, Marco Lino, Andrea Bartolomei, and Gareth Harvey. While on the GT4 driver is Condolence ahead of Pospisil, and the Munster managing to overtake Schappe. Really great start from the Belgian driver on the Mercedes, who now is aiming for Basil Pospisil. A rocket ship start for the Munster, who we did not see really competitive in a long time. And so the Munster really aiming to claim second place out of the hand of Basil Pospisil, who is doing his best in the Audi R8. And look at this, after turn 7, he almost tries to inside of turn 8. It looks like the Munster is going to double the speed in the corners respect to the R8 of Basil Botford, the Belgian driver, really seeking to take an overtake. Botford covering the inside. Very intense action already in the GT4 class with Botford and the Munster not giving an inch to each other. The Munster now trying also to some disturbance, trying some disturbance in the mirrors of Botford's Audi. Meanwhile, up ahead, Rashad is still in the track. He will have to serve drive-through penalty in the end of his lap, or will face major consequences. Rashad still sits. And it's the best in Bartolino Harvey Bartolomei. So good, so far, clean for the GT3. Oh, Botford is a mistake. After turn 1000, the Munster tries on the outside and managing to complete the move. Great overtake by Matthias de Munster, who manages to get the second place in the Mercedes. A great start for the Belgian driver. Now the toughest task for him, trying to recover the enormous gap of 2.6 seconds already on Kenzo Cotonezu, or at least to hold his pace. Meanwhile, Botford is already losing out to the Munster, and he has to watch out from behind from Adam Sharpie. Adam Sharpie in the Porsche Cayman, now aiming to retake his third place that would be in a podium in the GT4 class. But Botford not looking to give it to him really easily. Meanwhile, Rashad, he will have to serve the drive-through penalty now. And in fact, he comes into the pit lane. Nothing he could have done differently. And so the little way for all the others, Silvestri, Postelino, Harvey, and also Bartolomei, who is the slowest of them all for now in the GT3 ranking, but he's driving a Ferrari 488 and it is his debut, so I think we'll pass. Also, he has some damages to the body side, left body side of the car, so he could have some damage on the way. Oh, and Sharpie on the inside of Tarzan on Hospital. And Sharpie manages to complete the move. Sharpie up into third place. And it's really a tough part of the race for Van der Poel, who managed to qualify so well. But in the start, you know what happened? Maybe some changes to the setup. Something did not work to the rate of the Czech Republic driver. And now, after being overtaken by the Munster, it's also being passed by Sharpie, who will take the last step of the podium, but possibly is trying to hold Sharpie at bay. Emphasis on track for so far for Van der Poel. While behind him we see the two Belgian Wits and Spitz holding P16, P17 overall ahead of Nico Lamming and Serafino Gerbino. Some runoff by Alessandro Nete. Nothing too serious, fortunately. So, 4 laps of the race at Dramasella, leading with a huge distance of Stefano Giannelli. But if go the first place, it all looks like that it's already decided. It is also some great battles for the podium places, because both in the GT3 and GT4 we have some drivers really close to each other. And we have Stefano Giannelli and Brandon Glover now separated by 3 times as the Ford Mustang driver, really aiming to close the gap on Stefano Giannelli. And Riccardo De Rosa also not really far behind alongside Jack Prentice. We have a chatter that is really aiming for some good racing. It is Richard Kim saying full throttle guys, and Nico Velman, let's go. Thanks for the interaction guys, thanks for being there. We are now 10th people watching this race, which of course is not one of the most enthusiastic ones, but with the mindset that you cannot make any mistakes whatsoever or you'll be left vulnerable. And with the grey clouds that we saw on the north, so it might be some storm coming maybe for the second part, for the final minutes of the race. Everything can happen. It's all to play still, as we now have 36 minutes left to go. First 9 minutes done and dusted. And really, that's a problem you see with the Ford Mustang. It's because the Glover now is losing some little bit of terrain of Giannelli. The Ford Mustang is really fast on the straight, but the problem here is that there are not many straights, my friend, and you cannot be really fast there if you do not have many straights, but so much corners, many of which are really like slow, medium speed, so not many opportunities for the Mustang. Really holds really well when he about to defend, but on the attack with a driver so capable like Stefano Giannelli could really mean to hold on really well, but now Stefano Giannelli could have some problems because there's a McLaren GT4 in the middle of the way. Giannelli now against Giordani. It was Sebastian, but already some blue flag situation with Giannelli, who risked really much in that situation, and now will present the opportunity to Brandon Glover to try and attack here this part, considering he's now only maybe 1-2 tenths away from Giannelli in second place. Giannelli looks like it's holding well despite the obstacle of Sebastian. But look how close Glover is. Really like he's sniffing the rear of that Mercedes, Brandon Glover. Now turn 13, going a little bit wide, Giannelli, but looks like he carried the more speed in the exit of the corner. But now it is the rear power, horsepower and engine that will speak for the Ford Mustang. Not yet, because he's still behind, still unable to really mount a real attack on the Italian, on the Mercedes. And so it continues, but Giannelli goes wide onto the grass. He manages to hold, but Giannelli is really struggling now. A little bit of oversteer, the exit of turn 4. Can Glover find some doors there and there? Not quite. Still unable to fend off on Giannelli's mistakes. So it's still Giannelli second, Glover third. For now, at least, but look, Giannelli is really struggling. Like it really do not have any grip. Like the pressure is off for his rear tires, and another like slide there. And now Glover is alongside. Now it's a battle of the engines. And maybe something more brakes. Let's see. Glover tries on the outside. Giannelli goes deep, manages to hold on, and yet still. Great battle between Giannelli and Glover, with Giannelli still managing to hold on Glover really well, but now he's going slow. Now he's going slow in the exit of turn 13. Maybe this could present a chance to Glover. Maybe. His 3 times is still too far to really make an attack, a statement here at turn 1. At the time that there is nothing they can do at the moment. So the situation continues for now. Meanwhile, in the GT4, let's head back where Buzzer Hospital, who is back on the hunt on Aldo Sharpe. It is a fight for third place. Sharpe manages to overtook the driver from Czech Republic. And now Poppy wants his third place back on Aldo Sharpe. It is Audi against Porsche for now, and it's really a good battle for the GT4 podium. Reminder also that in the rankings of multi-class Thursday in GT4, we'll have for now. We will still look at material, but it will be overtaken by Kenzo Codoneso after the race, I believe, because of the. And sorry, I thought Codoneso had won it, but it was not, because round 4, Codoneso was penalized and left with third place at 10 penalty points. So victory at Nürburgring was handed over to Matteo D'Amica, who's still not present. The shot with the first mandatory pit stop, also Trotman in the GT4. But that does not change that Codoneso will aim to the lead of the championship, while for Sharpe Potter is still Potter, because Sharpe for now is 4th, but could jump up even to 2nd at this 2nd or 3rd at this rate, and it is a big chance for him, while Valzav Pospisil is aiming to his first podium spot in multi-class Thursday after victory of the last time out here in the start of Tuesday, if I recall right. Fabio Silvestri on the pits in his Ferrari. It was maybe Sunday last time out in Nürburgring from hospital. Yep. But and now he's fighting with Sharpe for 3rd place. Meanwhile, up ahead, Glover really didn't manage to. He's not holding now on Glover. Did not manage to keep the pace. Maybe also for some heavy traffic that now is in the GT4. Giannelli is just right in the middle of it. Other side Glover and De Rosa. That's not really ideal. That's one of the most intense and tension moments of this race, because you see a big snake of GT4 cars, and they do not have to get out of the way. You have to overtake them without touching them. Giannelli managing now on Nico Lamming. Glover does that as well. De Rosa is the one who having the short stick now, so he leaves some gap between himself and Glover. But we have here Pospinel still chasing down Aldo Sharpe for 2nd place. He tries on the outside of Sharpe on the chicane, turn 11 and 12, but still no way to go. But it is a fight worth watching, so let's jump on board if we can of Vaza Pospinel. Do we have the Audi? Sorry. do we have it? It is. And so, on board with Vazza possibly on the Audi. Oh, and just outside. So, possibly on board. Sharp decided to not have this battle with possibly and is back into the pits. So the on-board moment will have to wait because Sharpie is now in the pits. That leaves Pospisil alone ahead for what recalls the third place in the GT4 class, but he has to watch out also by those cars in the GT3. Gianelli is being forced to slow down. Glover is back. Following Gianelli down the road, goes on the outside and leaves Glover and Gianelli fighting for second place in the GT3 class. And Glover really aiming to get rid of the Mercedes now. He tries to dive bomb almost, but there was no room there. There was no room there. Let's see now if Glover, now with a good exit here, let's see maybe with some slipstream he can have the better of Gianelli as Mercedes GT4, I believe, on the Munster is coming back to the pits. 3/10. It's always those 3/10 that doesn't allow Glover to make a move on Gianelli because it's simply too far away to make any overtake attempt. Really nothing they can do so far. And wait a second, Sharpie is Sharpie. They did not take it with the mandatory pit stop completed. What has happened? Did they have a drive-through penalty to sort out in some stages of the race or something, or did either Sharp made a mistake? I just to make sure, because of Sharp is still P24, still with a mandatory pit stop to complete. This is, I don't know what happened with Sharp there. No, there was no such thing like a drive-through go, any penalty so far for Adam Sharpie. So, don't know what happened there. But the thing sure is that it ruined the race for Sharpie, whatever happened. Meanwhile, there was contact between Sebastian and Trotman, with Sharpie being in the middle of it. He takes them both and manages to move up 2 places. We'll try to review this race. Kenzo Codonesu now in the pits alongside Alessandro Lete. Codonesu completing the pit stop. And he rejoins the track with clean air, clean everything. And so Bowser's possibility so far, for now, is the leader in the GT4 class. He went to take his mandatory pit stop, but so far Possible is leading the GT4 class. And now we jump on board on the Audi R8 of Possible.
race through, not over yet.
And as we see, both video, both Marcella is into the pits. So Andrea Marcella into the pits. As you see, it's now doing his mandatory pit stop. That leaves Stefano Giordani provisionally leading the race ahead of Brandon Glover. Alongside Marcella, also the Rosa Postal entered the pit lane. Marcella now being held on by Sebastien, who just happens to be again in the way of the GT3 drivers. Marcella dispatching it with no problem. After all, he had an enormous advantage over Stefano Giannelli, so I don't think there was any problem for him at all. The Rosa joins as well, so let's wait to see where they will end up. Even though Marcella could still be third place and the Rosa fourth place, considering Postal and Lino also did their pit stops, and I believe it is, yeah. And Postal is just ahead of Adam Sharpie and behind Lawson. Yep, there's a Lawson here in FRL 2. It's not Liam Lawson, it's like a, I don't know what the J stands for, maybe Jack or John Lawson, and he's racing in the Ginetta GT4. Not related to Liam, by the way. Unlike, of course, our mate Gareth Harvey, cousin of the legendary Tim Harvey, racing the Super Touring era. And now Harvey having to deal with the GT4 car of Matthias de Munster. For now, is second provisionally in the GT4 class because the top three GT4 cars has yet to enter the pit lane. Both pit lane speeds go to do the mandatory pit stop. Sherry Moore continues for now. But meanwhile, Giannelli also made its pit stop and he rejoined just ahead of Brandon Glover. So it was really close between them. Glover and Sebastien. Another lap car here because the Ginetta of Els. Sebastien maybe managed to overtake thanks to those blue flags. So now the updated rankings that Andrea Marcella still leader with over 12 seconds on Ricardo De Rosa. And look at this again, Brandon Glover back on it on Stefano Giannelli. Tries the outside, turn 11 and 12. Can he hold it? Contact between them. It was contact between Glover and Giannelli. Glover was ahead, but now Giannelli has the sideline. In turn 13, they still neck to neck. Contact, phased out. There was some phase out between Giannelli, who went literally through the Ford Mustang and off to the gravel. So in the most bizarre way possible, Brandon Glover manages to overtake Giannelli, take third place, while maybe missed off it, but Ricardo De Rosa managed to pass both Glover and Giannelli. And so De Rosa maybe did not change tires, so maybe have another strategy in mind, but is now up to second place as he was about a few seconds ago almost to slam it into the barriers. What a bizarre situation, by the way, between the Glover and Giannelli. With Giannelli now having some damages from the body work on the front of the car. Luckily for him, he has 21 seconds advantage over Harvey, so it is still safe. Worst case scenario of the 4th place, but still, if the left you thinking. Meanwhile, Kenzo Condoneso back leading the GT4 car after Jerry Muger made a mistake and lost it, and he's into the gravel, so he could not take it with that match. Vazos Pospisil still ahead of Alan Sharpie. Alan Sharpie, who continues like nothing has happened, but don't know if it's my telemetry, but it says that he gets to do a correct first mandatory pit stop, which makes no sense. Let me see for a moment the laps of Pospisil and Sharpie for reference. The pit stop probably did a 2:29.2. Sharpie 2:35.1, and let's now stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane for Lawson. And Lawson also did not complete the mandatory pit stop. At this point, I must think that it could be a bug. Because there's no way at this point that they did not make a correct mandatory pit stop. Let's see if in the chat they know something. For now, no, they only don't know if there are 10 of them or only 4. Now only 3. Maybe they're investigating. I really hope, because for Sharpie, if he didn't make a mistake, it will be confirmed to enter again in the pit lane, but if it was just a bug, it would be incredible for him. Sharp is still continuing. 7 tenths away from Pospisil. But still, according to the game, to the server, for a mandatory pit stop to complete. I do not know what to say. While Riccardo De Rosa made a mistake and Brandon Glover managed to overtake him for second place. And Tevro Gianelli somehow ended very far behind those 2 Ford Mustangs. Yeah, 30 seconds. I think he has some heavy damage at the front. Let's see what the gap with Gary Harvey is at 12 seconds. 12 seconds. Whatever happened, he left Gianelli in the treacherous situation, because now he has to hold on and hope that Gary Harvey doesn't come close to him, because let's see now the gap 30.2 seconds, but as you get from Gianelli. He responded with a good lap, but still I still believe that he had some really major damage, and sometimes he does not allow it to race at the best of his possibility. That gap we have of 30 seconds is still quite a lifesaver. But who knows what will happen. The general would maybe make some mistakes under the pressure of the damages. And Sharpie fighting with possibility now. Sharpie fighting for possibility for a third place in the GT4 car. Even though Sharpie still for the game, I reckon he has to serve again a mandatory pit stop, even though he already did that. So I believe Adam will try to hold on to race as normal, and then at the end we'll waste a ticket, we'll report to the bug. That's what I think it will happen. And also I think also for the show, the remove, and also because they also have to complete the mandatory pit stop, but I'm sure at this point they already made it. Both possibly Sharp have been lapped by Andrea Marcella, who is the commanding leader. That's nothing has changed on the GT3 field, and as you can see, Andrea Marcella really doing a masterclass of its own. So how about we go closer to see how it is racing on Andrea Marcella, slamming, we're having some problem, cutting across the whole turn 13. It will certainly have gotten a warning now. Well, Sharpie back with possibility on the outside, but there's no room still for that. But oh, possibility went wide with two wheels onto the gravel, and Sharpie managing to take third place in the GT4 class and the category podium, but all awaiting, of course, what will happen to Sharpie after that mandatory pit stop, that yellow. And Marcella having some problem with Matthias de Multer as we now approach on board with Andrea Marcella, the racing leader, the dominator of the GT3 class so far. You really saw some brilliant driving by Andrea Marcella, who now is over 24 seconds on over. Meanwhile, Pospisil has not left other Sharpie for a single moment. He tries to hold the space to maybe try and hit back on the last couple of minutes. Now we enter the final 8 minutes of this race. While Trotman is back into the pit. Really a treacherous and disastrous championship so far for Trotman and also for Ginetta, who still is, it felt like at bay and without any directions. considering its all characteristics, because it's quite a fun car to drive and everything, but the top speed shortage is really what is killing for it. Let's head back to Bartolomei ahead of Silvestri Lasciode. P9 currently for the only driver with the Ferrari 488. It's channeling his own Serafino Gerbino, who raced with the Ferrari 488 in the Taco Tuesday. Giannelli lapping Silvestri, not for them behind one lap to Giannelli. Silvestri also losing some time on the Lasciode, the Frenchman on the 296 number 21 that we see now. It's really like a group of wild Ferrari denators and Mercedes. One of them being Nico Lamig, who's again in the way this time of Fabio Silvestri and Lasciode. No problem so far, however. They managed to avoid any disaster. So 4 minutes and 30 at the end of the race. It's about the only interesting battle happening on track. Is one in the back marks of the GT3 field with the Ferraris of Bartolomei, Silvestri, Lasciode all fighting out for P9 and P10. And it is quite interesting to see a Ferrari 488 old school ahead of the Ferrari 296 on a track old school such as Zandvoort. Can he hold on though? Can he really hold on in the last couple of laps? And hoping you're enjoying our direct, even though it's not really that tense of adrenaline and action packed as you would have hoped. Silvestri on the outside of turn 13, almost loses it. Bartolomei really good on holding the line on both Silvestri and Lasciode. And Lasciode now tries the inside, will try on the inside. Oh, Silvestri moves up to the other side last minute to take the position of Bartolomei, completing the overtake. So Silvestri is up into P9 ahead of Bartolomei. Bold and aggressive move by Silvestri in the black Ferrari, who moved in the different line on the inside at the last possible moment. And so, in doing so, he managed to overtake Bartolomei, who's now struggling and will have to watch him from the behind, because also Lasciode is trying to get a place in the top 10. A little bit too wide, Bartolomei. Maybe acts too much for the tires. Not sure. The tires on the inside. Little bit of contact. Bartolomei going wide at turn 10. Now they go into the chicane. Stand neck to neck. Bartolomei no shot. Bartolomei holding on no shot for the last spot in the top 10. Really great driving out there from both Bartolomei and no shot, and also by Silvestri. Let's see what will happen. No shot will try to get a good launch out of the final corner. It goes into the inside as well as Bartolomei will try a launch at the Tarzan corner, and he does so, and he completes so. Bartolomei tries for the switcheroo at the exit of turn 1. Tarzan, they still finding a little bit of contact between Bartolomei and Oshod. Another contact, and almost Bartolomei was spinning, but Oshod has to give up. But he wants to another round. They almost went for contact once again. Really hard fight between Bartolomei and Oshod, and I believe it will not end like this. Well, Dremacel now moves into main straight, and with 57 seconds to spare, in beginning his final lap of the race, the 28th and last one here at Zandvoort, with a really abysmal advantage over Brandon Glover, who secured the second place, and also Riccardo De Rosa. Great performance by the Ford Mustang drivers. And also great performance by Kenzo Codoneso, who, if there are no any surprises from the race control room for the stewards, will now celebrate his first victory, and it will stand now. Unlucky the one in the Nürburgring. And back on the shot, Bartolomei, and the shot, I fear, he has given up and raised the white flag on Bartolomei as the clock reaches 0. So Bartolomei will take a P10. Dremacel now in the chicane, turn 11 and 12. A perfect race, another one by Andrea Marcella, who will do 5 for 5 and give a 9.5 to all the field because of his immense pace and straight dominance of the field. Andrea Marcella over the checker flag and takes victory even at Zandvoort. A perfect route so far by the Italian, with 5 for 5 and with fashion even in the Netherlands. Brandon Glover will close a second.
Riccardo De Rosa completing the podium in the GT3 cars, while Marco Lido, Jack Prentice already crossed the line. P6, P7 and P8. Prentice behind Lido by only 193,000 of a second, so it was really close. Glover also the line. We'll wait for Riccardo De Rosa a few shortly for third place. And Stefano Giannelli will aim for fourth place, while Kenzo Codoneso will now celebrate because it is victory here at Zandvoort, and this time he will stand for the Belgian driver of the Mercedes. Second place will be for Matthias de Mooster. A 1-2 for Belgium made the GT4, and a 1-2 for the Mercedes AMG GT4. There will be Adam Sharpe, third on track, but we have to see what happened with the mandatory pit stop, because he has given 130 seconds of penalty for that. But I believe Sharpe will have something to say about that. For now, Paul Spinella is back into third place, but I believe it will be a lot of conversation, a lot of discussion in the stewards room with the race control. After Popoli, we have Smith, Laming, Serafino Gerbino, Alessandro Liti, and Wito will be the last one to take the checker flag. For now, in P20, let's see what will happen next. And so now as we see all the cars stop. It is done and dusted for the race result of round 5 on the MULTICLASS first day championship at Zandvoort. Andrea Masella is the winner once more in the GT3 ahead of Brandon Glover and Riccardo De Rosa, who round up the podium in their 2 Ford Mustang. Then it will be Stefano Giannelli 4th, Gareth Harvey 5th, and Petro Postoli 6th as the last driver in the same lap as the leader. Then we all have to see what will happen with the other cars who took 130 seconds of penalty, because apparently for the computer they did not do the mandatory pit stop. While GT4 category, this will be interesting because Kenzo Codoneso won, no question about that at all. Mattias Mutter finished in second, no question about that at all. Adam Sharpe was third but was penalized for that pit stop. So for now, it's further possibly third, Smith fourth. But I believe that these rankings you see at the end of the summer are destined to change. And that's all I can do for today. That's all I can do from this coverage at Zandvoort. Reminder that I will already put an advice. This Sunday I will not be present for the Super Sprint Championship, so I will not be there at the commentator room. It will be live. I hope someone of our admins and commentators will step in, and then maybe we'll say, so we'll see back next time. Reminder that next week we'll be heading for round number 6 of these championships, and after Zandvoort, of course, we have to see what will be the next destination, which will already be on the mind for the MULTICLASS first day drivers, and it would be, of course, the Hungaroring. For another twisted track, another track will be seeing some great driving and really tense action. Of course, always for Assetto Corsa Competizione and on Formula Racing TV. But for today, that's all I can hear you. That's all I can bring you. I'm Andrea Mattavelli. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and I wish you a very good night. Goodbye.